Welcome back, everybody. Good morning. My name is Todd Ronan from Reality Forecast and at Reality Forecast on YouTube. And this is a popular request among your Patreon and your YouTube followers, Liz. Have you heard of Caravaggio?
I have. How exciting.
It's the story of a light that burns bright, burns quick, and burns out fast. So I wondered if we could pull in the energy of Michelangelo Merici de Caravaggio.
Yeah, absolutely. I have him here.
How's he doing?
He's doing all right. He's had a couple of lifetimes since this one.
Yeah, now there's a new story that you didn't die of syphilis, but that you died of a stab wound by a sword. So can you put to rest the story of your death?
He died of syphilis.
And that is sad. Did you contract to live such a short life?
Yes. And apparently back then, a lot of people died of syphilis, he's telling me. I didn't know that.
Well, when you came out of this life, did you incarnate as other artists after you passed from Caravaggio's life?
Yes, he comes back as what, a painter? No. What did you come back as? A musician.
Anyone that we know?
No. Were you in Italy? Yes, he came back in Italy.
And what inspired you to do your almost photorealistic artwork during the Renaissance?
He says it was all about capturing the moment, capturing the emotions, trying to tell a story through different works of art that people would be able to dwell on for centuries. Obviously, we've done that. It's about trying to tell a story.
Did he use people as his inspiration, or did he use his mind's eye to capture their specific form?
People as your inspiration? No, he didn't use people as his inspiration. He would just recall, scenes or enactments or a story, and he would try to put the story on canvas.
How does he reconcile his passing from syphilis and the almost photorealistic imagery he was able to capture in his art in terms of religion? I guess, was he religious in life?
Yes, very.
And so how do you reconcile those two things?
He says, I'm still a man. That's so funny. So he was very religious, but he says he always felt like something was off for him with regards to religion.
What manner of speaking does he mean?
He never thought that it was really telling the truth. He didn't think that these events were real. He thought that they were watered down. And he tried to retell them through his artwork, somewhat to show how ridiculous it all is. But maybe there is an element of truth, he says.
Upon his death, did he seek out Jesus to ask him the truth about the religion?
Yes, and he realized he was wrong.
And what, expand on that one.
What we were taught to believe is not really what it is.
Can he expand on that?
Well, and he just said it, this whole simulation is what he said. This whole simulation is a facade.
Was he able to meet with Christ after he passed?
Yes.
I need him to tell us about that experience and about that conversation.
What was that experience like? Well, he was in awe of Jesus Christ. He was, he kissed his feet when he saw Jesus, or energetically kissed his feet. He was overwhelmed with joy. But then he realized that Jesus was just like us, that there wasn't a lot of difference between him and the rest of us.
What did Christ tell him when they met? Like, hey man, it's okay. You don't need to do that. But
well, he just said how much he loved him, as in Jesus told Caravaggio how much he loved him, how much he admired his work, how he made an imprint in this lifetime, because that's very, very important in the afterlife, the imprint that you make. Although it's almost like your stamp, your seal. But I'm saying when we go into the afterlife, though, we're just like everybody else. And he says, yes, that's true. But these works of art stay on the timeline, and they can expand and be viewed through the times. So it's about creating work that will exceed the lifespan.
all right. So is there a long line of people after they cross over to meet Jesus Christ, or was it just that Caravaggio's work was so inspirational and illuminating about Christ's life that he got the chance to meet with him?
No, Jesus meets with everyone that wants to individually. There's no lines. Everything just seems to work succinctly up there. And Jesus knew before he got into the spirit world that he was always wanting to meet him, to meet Jesus. So that was already like prearranged on a soul level. And he has a lot of respect for Jesus, because that is someone who is remarkable, that came down, according to Caravaggio, and has surpassed many, many, many generations, many lifetimes. Like his message lives on, his story lives on. Now this is going to be interesting, because we, as you know, Ronan, because you're helping, we're doing this crack the manifestation technique, right? Crack the manifestation code. For those of you not on the Patreon, you're not going to get those videos. You have to be a subscriber. Patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. Now, the thing is about the fact that Jesus could allegedly levitate, he walked on water, he could, manifest things. One of the questions that was asked during the manifestation was, what percentage of Jesus's brain capacity was he actually accessing? And Jesus had access to about 75% of his brain capacity. And through our manifestation probes, we have been told on numerous occasions that if you can expand your consciousness and to, above 60 or 70%, you can basically manifest whatever you want. So that's why Jesus was able to perform so many miracles, because he had access to that level, that massive level of brain capacity.
Yeah, someone actually texted me last night. I think this question is poignant, so we're going to throw it in. In the Bible, the verse comes from the Gospel of Thomas. It was a book that was removed by Emperor Constantine in 325. This quote came from Jesus himself. When you make the two one, you will say to the mountain, "Mountain, move away, and the mountain will move away. The two being thought and emotion. And there are three variations of this verse, which were recorded three different times in the same gospel. And I wanted to ask Jesus if he could clarify what he meant by that passage on how to manifest.
You can do whatever you want with the brain capacity. So let's break it down question by question. What's the first question, please?
The first question would be, are these verses instructions by Jesus himself on how to manifest?
No, they're hearsay.
Did Constantine suspect that they were manifestation clues, and that's why he removed that gospel?
Yes, they don't want you to manifest.
So that was a concerted effort by the elders to say anything that you can tell people that will make them, I don't know, less obedient and less controllable will be removed. Was that their goal in the removal of the passages in the books?
Well, there's a few goals here, right? These are good questions. The first goal is, yes, if you're not able to be controlled, then they've lost you. Now, you and I did a video, which is going to be released today, about tithing. And that was very telling as well. Was tithing necessary? Is tithing necessary? Does tithing help you towards your manifestation? The other thing is, what I'm pulling now from Jesus is they also weren't sure where manifesting came from. Did it come from the light or did it come from the dark? There was a lot of confusion. Now, through our manifestation quest, we know that you can manifest easily if you're willing to tap into the dark. Okay, but when you tap into the dark, you're selling your soul. And you have to take the consequences of tapping into that dark energy to manifest. I would not recommend it. It will all end in tears, and those tears will be your own. Now the other thing is, so that's part of it. It's where is the manifesting coming from? Are we giving ourselves over to the dark in order to manifest? Well, if that's the case, no, we're soldiers for the white light. So therefore, that's another reason that manifestation script or tool or book was taken out.
And those passages, I guess, was it always his path, Emperor Constantine's, to obfuscate the real truth about Christianity?
I mean, yes. The problem is, it's a lot of it is just, verbal. And then when it was eventually written down, it was written down from memory. It's like, when you're in school and they do the whisper game, so everybody sits in a circle and you're like 5 years old. I remember it well. And the teacher will give the first person in the line or the circle the phrase. And then by the time it gets to the very end, it's completely different to what the teacher gave you, right? So you only have to look at that game that they play in school to show how things can be distorted. You only have to look at mass media to see how things can be distorted nowadays. So anyway, sorry, what was the question?
Was it always in his life path to edit and obfuscate the truth about Christianity, or did they just remove those books because, I don't know, they wanted to lighten the book? Maybe pick less pages in it.
They believed that aspect was dangerous, and it gave people power. So the power is dangerous. We all know that. We've come across this many times. Why don't the governments want you to have a load of money? Why? Because you become powerful. Power is dangerous. Why don't you want to have enlightenment? Well, enlightenment is powerful. Why is it dangerous? It's dangerous to the dark. Power is dangerous. Knowledge. Why do they not want to give you knowledge? Knowledge is power. Power is dangerous.
I wanted to bring this back to Caravaggio before we wrap up and ask if his path is to shine a light upon the story of religion and how he's done that since he incarnated as Caravaggio.
Did you actually have you seen your paintings? So he actually came across his paintings in his reincarnations. And what did you think? Did you ever think that you were that person? No, he never felt like he was that person, but he was in awe of that person. And he would try to figure out what he was thinking or what Caravaggio was thinking at the time of the paintings. It was a big mystery. He had no idea in his reincarnations he was Caravaggio. Sorry, what was the question? I'm so sorry. I've got like Jesus and Caravaggio and other.
Yeah, so we don't want to end up like make Jesus angry because we have him here talking. But is he able to share with us how people can elevate themselves to that 65%, 70% consciousness enlightenment? Maybe some tips and techniques people can use listening, because I think people are going to yell at me that I didn't ask him more questions being here.
Well, they always yell at us, Ronan. You know that. How do we expand our consciousness? It's about finding your soul. That's how you expand your consciousness. You first have to find your soul, and then you have to heal the soul. I mean, I can go on and talk about it, how we do it through CTT. Ronan, you have a method that you do. There's also a method called soul retrieval. But it takes a lot of work. It does
take a lot of work.
It does. You're talking about a soul that has been around for probably millions of years. Think of the damage that has been done to that soul. So, I mean, it's about retrieving all the pieces of your soul puzzle and putting them back in. And when you do that, your consciousness expands.
What does he think about my technique that I have, which is I think it's the 65,000 year soul retrieval process that I go through?
Ronan, you're so funny. I love your new technique, by the way. What do you think about it? He thinks it's excellent.
There you have it, folks. Can't get a better recommendation than that. Jesus said 5 stars. Make sure you email remoteview@gmail.com and ask about this new soul retrieval technique for healing.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's great. There's many different ways to do it, but it's the doing it. It's like the CTT. I always say, and I know that it costs money, people. I get it. But I always say, if you just come by for one CTT session, yeah, it's great. But the real healing takes place when you embrace any type of process, not just CTT, but like your process, soul retrieval, whatever the modality is, Reiki, therapy, whatever it is, it's a process. Everybody is looking for this one-hit wonder, wave the magic wand, miracle cure. It's not going to happen, okay? It just isn't. Everything is a process. It's the way that we're structured. It's the way that the universe is structured. It's the way that our brains are structured. As we do these healings, even Ronan, you and I do the CTT group every Monday morning, 9 a.m. Central. What are we doing? We're peeling off layers. That's why everything is a process. So I think people really need to understand that. And considering that each lifetime is so short in the grand scheme of things as the soul, you may not have this opportunity set up in your next lifetime. So you need to start now on trying to reconnect with the soul, find the soul, and start communicating with the soul. It's very, very important.
Liz Cross, thank you very much. Mr. Christ, thank you very much. And Mr. Caravaggio, thank you very much. And folks out there, thanks for joining us. Please leave a comment below and like and share this video.
Great. Thanks.
We'll see you guys next time.